What is going on, everybody? So here we are, another week and another stage event has passed in the gaming industry. There is a lot for us to talk about, some of it a little bit outlandish and controversial, other stuff is exciting and definitely a lot to look forward to when it comes to the future of Xbox. No, I'm not going to sit here and kind of like go through everything that Xbox did at the show and kind of give the whole synapse once again, because either A, you've already heard about it, B, watched the show or read an article, but the point is I don't want to regurgitate that. But let's really talk about what we witnessed at the show when it comes to the tea, the drama, all the whispers that took place. So we saw Xbox come out and decide to really show off some really cool stuff. We're about to see all the amazing graphics and technology that's being offered with Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2. I mean, the metahuman technology in the Unreal Engine 5 is an absolute awesome piece of tech. I have done a previous video on it before. It'll pop up right here. It'll show you on how they are able to do this motion capture animation with lifelike resemblance. And they are able to do this on stage with an iPhone and a laptop. They talked about how this used to take them days, if not a month, of going to the studio, recording all the motion capture, and sending it off for processing, which could take up to 30 days, and then they could get it back and be like, oh God, that looks bad. We got to do it all over again and repeat process. With the metahuman technology, this is going to create lifelike animation a lot quicker, a lot more reliable, and it's going to really open up the doors to a lot of developers out there that don't either A, have thousands of dollars to throw at equipment or time. This will make it to where they can do top-notch animations without having to break their back. Now, we also saw Xbox win a couple awards. Thought that was really amazing. There was one game, Spider-Man, let's just face it, we all knew Spider-Man 2 was going to be a great game, but it was really a rehash of the original Spider-Man game and a build-off Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like, literally, the game was nominated 7 times. It did not take anything home as an award, but Microsoft got 2 awards for Forza and I believe 1 for Hi-Fi Rush. So Microsoft was able to score 3 awards where PlayStation, I guess if you twist the math like a couple people have tried on social media, Square Enix's Final Fantasy game got an award and The Last of Us television show got an award, but that's not really a video game, The Last of Us, and Square Enix was a third-party deal. There was nothing from Sony's first-party studios that really garnered an award. So therefore, Xbox walked away with 3 and PlayStation walked away with none. And no, I'm not trying to kind of hold someone's face down in the sandbox and be like, hey, my console got more awards than yours. It's kind of more like it's a changing of the guard, a changing of the narrative that we're starting to witness with the Xbox brand, where now Xbox is really cementing themselves as a viable gaming company, and they are capable of creating a product that is award-winning. Yes, they did not get a game of the year, but the funny part about that is I also knew that Spider-Man did not have a snowball's chance in hell of getting one over on Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 has really set a new definition of what developers can offer to the consumer without having to nickel and dime them with too much monetization or DLC. And we even saw that the developers over at Larian Studios are really down-to-earth funny guys. I mean, the game director himself wore a suit of armor up on stage to take the award. So definitely a very deserving group of individuals. But now the real icing on the cake was Microsoft coming out and showing 2 games that really got people talking. The first one was obviously Blade, a Marvel game. Microsoft is really starting to nip at the butt of that narrative that Marvel exists and lives on the PlayStation console. And now we are going to see the Blade franchise come to the Xbox console. And I don't care about the controversies that have taken place. It is going to it's going to be an exclusive. I'm not even going to say possibly. it is going to be an exclusive and it's going to be on Game Pass. Now, there is like 3 kind of narratives that we can all say branch into why the trailer for Blade did not contain an Xbox logo or a Game Pass logo. Narrative number 1, the FTC is back and they're playing their stupid shenanigan of a game, and Xbox is having to potentially make face like they did last year and not really show too much when it comes to exclusivity, because when it comes to Blade, it's being developed by Arcane Leon and it's a Bethesda studio, and the FTC is using previous instances with Bethesda on how Hi-Fi Rush and Starfield were both exclusive games to the Xbox ecosystem, and they're trying to use this as a gotcha moment for fuel to somehow unwind ABK from Xbox. But there's 2 other narratives. A, we don't know what Game Pass, this game is very far out. It could be on a service like Game Pass, but it could not be possibly called Game Pass. We're talking about 4 or 5 years out. Or it's also going to appear on the next generation of consoles from Xbox. So Xbox does not know whether or not it's going to be called Game Pass in 4 or 5 years, and they don't know if they're going to still be using the Xbox Series family of consoles in 4 or 5 years. So yeah, of course they're going to leave some things out and definitely not cement anything in place, because that would really shoehorn them, because we all know how people get, like, you promised us. People would just lose their minds if it was promised for one thing and it ended up as another. So I'm pretty sure Xbox is keeping their cards close to their chest when it comes to the Blade franchise. But now it's good to see that Microsoft has definitely kind of like stood up to silently challenge the fact that Marvel games can appear elsewhere than just on PlayStation consoles. But the other game that people are really chatting about on the internet, and there's a lot of excitement for, is Hideo Kojima's OD, or Overdose. Hideo Kojima came out, announced, dude, it was an absolutely oddball of a trailer. Very intriguing. It makes you want to know more. This is exactly what he did with Death Stranding. And I really do feel that this is going to be something that really puts a flag in the Xbox brand of showing that these titles, like from developers or really prominent people like Hideo Kojima, are able to put their stuff on the Xbox console. Now, that being said, this is where I had to chuckle, is because we also saw the Xbox tax, or the Xbox bias narrative that seems to exist in the gaming media, take place. For starters, after the event, we saw a couple of shows through IGN and other gaming media platforms. Let's start with IGN. There was a 4-panel conversation that took place on IGN after the show. One of the panel members was Destin Laguerre. He has been definitely very outspoken about the non-existence of the Xbox tax, got him a lot of heat, but Destin has definitely really tried to help the Xbox brand and help them stand out, being critical when he should be, but also supportive here and there, not as much as we'd like to see, but supported nevertheless. Well, it's interesting that during this 4-panel discussion after the Game Awards, the guy that was pretty much leading the panel pretty much like went after Destin and made a joke about how Starfield player base is already dwindling, and Destin tried to come out and jokingly say, well, yeah, it is, but it's a single player game. And the guy's like, yeah, I mean, gave him like literally this like crap eating attitude and laughed about what Destin tried to say. And that's when Destin had to be like, I'm serious. It's a single player game. Like, why is this a big deal? Like, Starfield is a single player game. Why? Yes, they are not going to be playing it like they would games as a service. And of course, the guy decided later on the show to really hammer it home with saying, Xbox has no games, not my words. And he's referring to what people like to say on the internet. So it just goes to show that IGN tries to push this narrative, and it feels like pretty much Destin Laguerre was thrown down in front of the bus. And you even got that from his reaction to this guy's like words. And he gave him that look like, yo, hey, just the other day I came out on my channel and defended IGN, and this is what you're going to do to me? Like, what the F, dude? And then later on in another show, we saw some guys, another 4-panel crew. I don't even know where they were from, but I'm going to be honest, I don't care. Because, I mean, they lost all validity when they decided to come out and say, when they were talking about OD, they're like, oh, this is going to be a great concept of a game. But it's going to be short. It's going to be in Game Pass. It's not going to be much. It's going to be in Game Pass. It can't amount to anything. It's going to be in Game Pass. Basically, these guys were all complicit in the idea that just because something appears in Game Pass, it means it's going to be crap. It's going to be a very mediocre statement. In other words, that this is just a little bit of a project or an experiment for Hideo Kojima, for him to do something more immaculate or miraculous somewhere else, and he's just using Xbox, and it's just going to be something small. So once again, at the end of the night, we see all these media biasness and narratives trying to grasp on to the idea that Xbox is not this brand that everybody wants to make it out to be, when that could be further from the truth. Hence the thumbnail. Microsoft Xbox is this meteorite of change that is coming for the La Brea tar pits of the gaming media and the biased people out there that seem to think that Xbox has no place in the industry. And from the fact that they won multiple awards at the Game Awards, from the fact that they are getting a Marvel game, Hideo Kojima, they are advancing gaming technology with Ninja Theory and Hellblade 2. Basically, at this point, the gaming media is either going to need to buck up and change their attitude, or they are going to have to face the winds of change that are eventually going to make them extinct with their attitudes, and the whole world will move on from their BS. Because I'm sorry, we can see the writing on the wall that PlayStation in its current state could potentially be on dire straits, where Microsoft is starting to fire on all cylinders and is getting prepared to deliver an amazing, impactful 2024 year for the Xbox brand. Well, guys, if you'd like today's content, please like, subscribe, comment down below, all that fun stuff that really helps my channel grow. That being said, please, I'm wanting to just put it out there that the past few weeks I have not been able to put out content like I want to. Somebody very close to me went through some medical issues, and I'm just being there for her and being around as much as I can. And on top of that, I'm like you guys. I am worked way too much and stretched too thin by my employer, and I am trying my hardest to juggle a work-life balance, and that's where I'm not able to put out as much content as I want to. I'm really trying to change that because I love providing content for you guys. I love seeing your comments down below, all the positive words of encouragement, and hell, I even love watching people lose their minds in my comment section and say irate things to me. It just means the world to me for you guys to take time out of your busy day to watch my content, and that's why I take time out of my busy world and chaotic life to try to at least make a video a couple times a week for you guys to all consume and enjoy. So if you do enjoy today's video, also please check out the end card at this video, watch my last video, explore my playlists, explore my whole channel, and until next time, everybody, just enjoy what gaming has to offer, play what you love, where you want, no matter what anybody says, and I am Centurion 1307, and thank you for watching.